Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, Life with Everyday Haley. If you are new here, welcome. Would love for you to like and subscribe this video and follow along on my journey. We have a special guest today, Mr. Smokey. Okay, he's gone. He's only around for a second. You are probably someone like me going through a fertility battle and you found my videos for help and assistance, and that's what I hope I can be to you ladies in this journey, a light of hope, education, and understanding, because I've been through some really challenging, difficult things, and I hope that my channel is a resource on YouTube, because when I was going through all of this, which I have been for about a year now, YouTube has been a great resource for me. Today we are going to talk about how I remembered my last angel baby on their due date, which is actually today, August 24th, 2024. The due dates are hard. I think the first due date of my first pregnancy hit me really hard. I just kept thinking, I would be a mom right now. This is what I want to be. This is where I see my life. But as we know, my life took a different turn. And so I am not yet a mom to earthly babies. And so when the due dates come around, it gets really hard, because you just think about the potential of the joy and happiness you could have had in that next phase of life, and your reality is taken from you because it's not there. So there's nothing that's going to make any of that better. There's nothing that's going to heal that pain. And as someone going through this, I've had 2 pregnancy losses. I've now had 2 due dates go by. Just treat yourself with kindness. Understand that it's going to be a really hard day. I pretty much had a total breakdown of anger on my first due date, which is so unlike me. Very, very angry, very, very emotional. And it was really hard. It was really hard. Just know that you don't know how you're going to react. Internally, you may be feeling things that come to the surface. And however you choose to react to your due date is totally your prerogative. It's totally how you want to process your grief or remember your angel babies. It is up to you. And I encourage you to think through that. Think through a healthy and positive way that you can remember the lives that are now a part of your family. Because I hope to go on to have a healthy pregnancy, healthy children, maybe, if I can get there. But I'll never forget the beginning of my motherhood journey and what those 2 pregnancies meant to me. And they're both unique and special. They both were very different experiences. I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for the opportunity that I can say I'm a mom. I'm thankful for the opportunity that I can say I survived, almost all the way through the first trimester. I felt what it feels like to be pregnant. What a whirlwind. That is something like nothing else I've ever experienced in my life. I loved every second of my pregnancy, the one that progressed enough to where I could enjoy it. I enjoyed literally every moment of it, and I was so excited. I was so ready and was just embracing all moments of it. And I know pregnancy's not easy. I haven't even gotten that far enough to know how difficult it is all the way through. I have not gotten to my 2nd trimester, but I hope to. And I know that each trimester has its challenges, but I just want to say that I feel like I'm one of those ladies that truly embraces her pregnancy. I really loved it. Now, looking at potentially being able to get pregnant again soon. If you followed my journey, we had a long pause of treating something called chronic endometritis that could have definitely caused my miscarriages in my uterus. And so I was out for like 5 months trying to treat that. It's an infection in your uterus. You can view more videos on my channel about that. So we were required to have a long pause in our TTC journey. So I have not actively tried to conceive again since my 2nd loss. which has been really challenging because I had so many months of gap of just wanting to be pregnant again, but couldn't. And so it's made my journey a little bit longer, a little bit more difficult. But on the positive side, I've been able to focus on my healing and my physical and mental and emotional healing from my grief and from my losses. And it has allowed me to now be in a better place mentally and emotionally to try again and to want to try again and to kind of be on the other side of that grief a little bit. I mean, I don't think I'll ever truly feel whole until I can have my healthy baby in my arms, and then I can feel like, okay, God had a plan. This was all part of his plan. I understand, I accept, and I am happy, and I have my goal. I feel like I don't think I'll feel whole again until that happens. If that resonates with you. And I hope that it does for me, either with my own earthly child, or if for some reason I'm unable to do that, through the blessing of adoption. And, you know, when you go into this battle, this journey, nobody knows what to expect. It either works or it doesn't. And there's no rhyme or reason to it. It's nothing you have done. It's nothing you deserve. And so you quickly realize that you're not in control of your life. God is in control. And if that means that, you know, physically my body's not able to carry a pregnancy, I'll have to come to terms with that. And I'll have to, you know, have some conversations with God. Like, okay, God, I feel called to be a mom. I want to be a mom. What's next for me? How do I make that happen? I have confidence that God sees and hears my prayer, has seen my difficult journey. I have felt so connected to God through this journey. I have grown in my connection with him so much deeper, and with my husband and our connection with God and my connection with my family, and all of our connections have gotten so much stronger because we have just dealt with such a battle. And I just know in my heart that God has a plan. I know in my heart that God has a baby for me. I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I feel in my heart that he's put that desire on me, and to be a mom, and it's not going to go anywhere. So yeah, now we have to let God work and see what he does next. So today's purpose of this video is, I just want to start by saying I am in a much healthier place to do this video than I was months back. I feel transparently like I can share my story without having like serious emotional reactions inside, or like feeling very uncomfortable even just sharing it. I feel like I have processed my grief enough that I'm not embarrassed. I'm not feeling shame anymore about my journey. I mean, I have moments, don't get me wrong. Mainly my struggles currently are feelings of fear about a next pregnancy, and feelings of, can my body do this? Those are the feelings that really creep in and get me very insecure and very like even depressed at moments. But I have really come a long way with my healing journey in therapy, and just to know that what happened to me was not my fault. What happened to me was very normal. So many women go through loss. There are women, even though it's a small percent, there are women that go through recurrent pregnancy loss. There are a lot more than you realize. 1% of the population is actually a large number going through recurrent pregnancy loss. When you look at the numbers of people and women in this country or around the world, you hear 1% and you think, well, that's 3 people. 1% of the population, that's a lot of people, whether you want to admit it or not. And luckily, most of these women that deal with recurrent pregnancy loss do end up finding ways to have success. And I hope that I can be one of those. And no matter what your journey is, if you're dealing with infertility, or you can't get pregnant and you're struggling, or you're on my side of things where, I just keep having pregnancy losses, what's going on, and you're going through that investigative journey, I just want you to know that there's a lot of hope, and there's nothing that you did to cause the situation. I had to really get through that in therapy, deal with the whole deserving factor. And I think a lot of it is just when you're in that journey and you're in that battle, it's hard to justify and make sense of what's happening to you. And so it's even hard to have hope. And so your mind and your heart just can't handle and process. I remember after my second loss, I just kept saying over and over, I don't have any hope. Like, my hope is gone. Because after 2 losses, then you're like, oh, something's wrong with me. This isn't normal. You start feeling like I need to get help, like something's not working right. And I really respect my decision to do that. Some women just go ahead and try again and hope for the best. And a lot of times they don't have another loss. I just felt compelled to go ahead and look into the investigative side of things, because heaven forbid I have to go through this again. And it is absolutely a nightmare to go through. So anyways, I'm in a much better headspace now to just talk about what happened and even share with people. And yeah, I'm not on the other side of my journey yet. I don't have my rainbow baby yet. I do not have my rainbow baby yet. But that doesn't mean I can't minister to people. That doesn't mean that I can't be strong enough to share my journey with somebody going through this. And I have learned just how much of an impact that you can make by just being honest and sharing what you're going through. And I have met so many women on YouTube and my TikTok that have reached out, like, thank you so much for your videos. Like, you know, I'm diagnosed with chronic endometritis. I don't know how to handle it. Like, you wouldn't believe how many messages I've gotten like that. And they're like, your videos are so informative and helpful for me. And that is my purpose behind doing this, is I don't want people to be like me and be so scared and not know where to turn for information and guidance. I don't want somebody to feel like an alien that's dealing with some weird thing they've never heard of, like I did. I want people to know that they're not alone. I also want people to know that if you've had 2 pregnancy losses in a row, or even more than 2, you didn't do anything to deserve this. And more than likely, there's something going on that you can address. And if not, then your chances of success, if you do continue to try, are pretty good. So I just want y'all to know that I've dealt with feelings of like, I'm weird, I'm an alien, I'm the only one going through this. Go on TikTok or social media or YouTube and you'll quickly realize that we are not alone in this battle. And fertility issues are rising. You're hearing more about it. You're not alone, even though you feel like I'm the weird girl that has the losses. I don't have the baby yet. There's a season for all things. I don't want to be in this season very much longer, but God has put me in this season. And so sometimes, even in the hard seasons, we have to find purpose in them. And my season has been a season of grief, a season of healing, a season of learning about my body, a season of hope, of just getting our ducks in a row to try and have success again. All right, so I'm going to shift gears a little bit, and I want to talk about how I chose to remember my angel babies on their due date. So I have another video on my channel of the first due date, and I went out with my mom. It was very emotional that day, and we bought a couple things in remembrance of the first baby. And it was actually just a few baby items that I'm going to use in my rainbow babies nursery and for my rainbow baby. And so what I chose to do, and therapists will tell you, try to find a way to remember your baby, try to find your own way. It's a method of healing. It's a method of having hope. And so what I chose to do was go out and buy a few things in honor of that child. And I'll know, okay, you may not be able to, use these items because you are now in heaven, but your sibling can. And also, it was kind of a way of just symbolizing hope for the future, because for a while after my loss, I didn't buy any baby things. I mean, I kept the door to the nursery closed. I mean, it was very, very bad for a while. It was very, very sad because I felt that this nursery and these items were for that baby. And so when that baby died, it didn't feel like it felt like all of this should just disappear. It actually felt like I should just disappear. I actually felt when I was having my loss, I actually felt like dying. And I think that's just a natural motherly instinct of, my baby is dying, like I should die too. Like, and that's the craziest thing, because I hadn't even met this baby, but I felt such a connection to it that I felt that way. So like, even just coming into the nursery felt wrong, because this should be their room. It's kind of like when a child passes away, unfortunately. Oftentimes families won't touch their room because that's like their sacred space, because that's who they are and that's how they remember them. So it took me a while to, I had to kind of transition from grief to hope and start really remembering that actually, no, there is hope. You can get pregnant again. You know that you can get pregnant. And there's hope because you have a great doctor team that's going to help you in your next pregnancy, hopefully find success. But I had to get to that point, and I had to get to the point where I accepted that my baby had passed away, and I accepted that that pregnancy did not work out. And it wasn't until I was able to truly accept that I could start moving on. And it did take a while. It really did, because I was, like I said, I was so connected to that pregnancy. I've been pregnant for 2 months. I passed my pregnancy at 9.5 weeks. So I was almost through the first trimester. And you know, it's hard, but I will say this, now that I know about loss and pregnancy is very risky. Pregnancy is never guaranteed. You see people get positive tests and be so excited. I don't really have that anymore. I mean, I think a positive test is a beautiful sign of hope. That's what my husband and I say. We say a positive pregnancy test is an opportunity for hope. And you never truly know that your pregnancy is going to be okay. And I don't say that to be alarming. I say that to be realistic, to just know that pregnancy is a journey, and it can oftentimes be a little scary. So in my next pregnancy, I'm trying to kind of balance hope and fear, and just not get my expectations too high, but also keep that hope and keep that faith in Christ that He does have a plan. So there's so much with that. And I haven't even fully processed to that level yet. But I did want to share those feelings with you. And so, second angel baby due date is today. And what did I do to remember this baby? So first of all, I just want to say that this due date was easier for me. It should have been harder, because this is the pregnancy that, I mean, it kind of is harder, I will say. This is the pregnancy that, progressed further. And this is the pregnancy that, we saw the ultrasound, we knew we were pregnant. But I think I've healed. Like, I've put so much time and energy into my healing journey that I've truly accepted that baby, that soul is with God. And so, as much as today hurts and sucks, I think about this beautiful day that we have, and how, wow, I could have been at the hospital. I could have been giving birth today. I see other women that were due around the same time as me. There was somebody that I know that had the same due date as me. She already had her baby, her healthy baby. It's very, very hard. I think part of me is a little bit numb to things. And there's just not much that makes that better. But I think just being healed and being able to have hope for the future is helping me. And then knowing that we're going to start trying again soon is very positive for me. And there's a lot of fear that comes with that, but there's also a lot of hope that comes with that. And I'm choosing to see that every positive pregnancy test is hope. is hope for a successful pregnancy. So I will continue to try to feel that way as I navigate my journey, that a positive test equals hope. And that is how I am going to cope with that. Also, just knowing that I have a really good doctor team and a doctor that's going to watch me every step of the way does make me have like a lot more hope. Knowing that I cleared my chronic endometritis allows me to have hope. So I'm not going into my third pregnancy blind, and I'm going into it with support. So I'm going into it with a lot of support and care, and so I just feel stronger. So for today, what I bought, so I did keep the same tradition of let me buy something in honor of the baby that I lost, and let me buy something that my future child can use. So I actually bought something for the nursery, and I did buy a little bit of a more expensive item because this baby meant so much to me, and really just truly was my first bonding experience in pregnancy. And I bought a really pretty blanket ladder. I would show you, but it's huge. I'll show you when I get my nursery ready. We've been working on our nursery right now while we're, working through my health journey, trying to get the nursery ready. There are several pieces of furniture that we're not going to buy yet. We're going to wait and put that on our baby registry. But my husband and I have been working on an accent wall in the nursery. So we've been doing that now while we're kind of in this waiting time. And that's been a lot of fun. And I bought a blanket ladder from Hobby Lobby, which will go with our decor and our setup in here in our baby nursery. And again, it was a little bit more pricey than other things I've bought, but I thought, what a nice item that I can buy in memory of my second pregnancy and place it in the nursery. And so yes, I will show you the blanket ladder when we have our nursery set up. I'm planning on putting some cute little blankets on it, and it'll be a fun little decor piece for the nursery. So I just wanted to share that with you guys because for me, that was just a fun and also simple way to highlight them and to give them a purpose for the future. So when I look at that blanket ladder, I'll remember what it meant. When my baby can use some of the toys and things that we bought with the first baby, I can remember, hey, that's in memory of your sibling. So yeah, just find your own way to remember your losses. It doesn't have to be buying something. I just kind of found peace in that. I kind of found peace in hope for the future. All right, so the last thing I wanted to share with you guys, and I don't want to get too morbid in this, but I never share this on my channel, and I'm just sharing this right now. I'm putting it at the end of the video, so like if you're still watching, you really want to watch. And trigger warning, this is about pregnancy loss and actual like burial of the baby. So I'm gonna try to talk about this with like a lot of respect and decency here. Like I don't want to be too triggering or too I want to be sensitive. Okay, so something I see all throughout this community of women with recurrent pregnancy loss is, I hate to say this, guys, but it's backyard babies. They're called backyard babies because they're babies that you've lost in your first trimester and you bury them in your backyard. And I just want to acknowledge right now that there's a whole army of women out there that maybe they're not even in the recurrent pregnancy loss bucket. Maybe they had one loss, and there's 1 out of 4 women have had one. So there's no telling how many backyard babies are out there. I just want to acknowledge the strength and courage it takes to bury your pregnancy that you wanted so deeply in your backyard. I just want to stop because, like, think about that for a second. The baby that you carried in your tummy that you wanted so badly, A lot of times it's very planned for. Something goes wrong and you bury that baby in your backyard. So this is what we did. And I'm going to start off by saying I'm really glad that we did that. It was an opportunity for my husband and I to say goodbye together. My husband was able to prepare the burial area, and just seeing him do that was a sign of respect for our pregnancy. Before I get into like a little bit of more details about this situation, I'm going to share with you guys my thought process behind everything. So again, I'm trying to be sensitive. I know this is a very hard topic. And a few months ago, I wouldn't have even been able to say this, but I just felt called to share this. So when you have a miscarriage and you are in your first trimester, or even to a certain gestation, you're not required to dispose of your pregnancy in a certain way. And I personally find that not cool. I find that insensitive, but it's just the way the world works. So whatever. So something we ran into was, which the doctor that I had at the time was completely unhelpful. I think doctors should tell women what to do with their pregnancy when they pass their pregnancy. But no one said a word to me about that. The doctor had shared with me that the baby would not come out intact and you would just pass blood clot and that would be it. Guys, that doesn't always happen, okay? And that did not happen to me. So, and I thank God for this because I think it was a God thing. My pregnancy, I actually processed my loss more like labor. I did take a drug called misoprostol, and it did allow my body to dilate my cervix and go into contractions. So I do have a little bit of a sneak peek of what that might feel like. But my body just passed everything intact. I mean, literally everything. And so to me, that was beautiful. To me, it was not something that I could just dispose of in the moment. And so I don't know if I just got lucky or if that just happens in some cases of pregnancy loss, but it happened to me. So anyways, then we're like, well, what do we do? So we literally Googled, look things up, like, can you bury a first trimester loss? And the answer is yes, you can. So anyways, I'm trying to be sensitive. I know this is rough. And it makes me uncomfortable talking about it just because it's so sad. So at that point, I wanted to bury my loss as quickly as I could. I think in my head and my heart, it was I can't move on until this is processed type situation. And I've shared on my channel, when you have a loss, like, it's not a quick thing. I was struggling for 3 or 4 days just with bleeding and passing, and it's not just like I passed, that's it. Like, it's not like birth, and it's not, I mean, I know birth is extended with a lot of that, but it's kind of similar to like a recovery, but it's not as long as your birth recovery, but it's 3 or 4 days of like a lot of cramping and a lot of your body's trying to expel all of that like it's supposed to. And I just remember dealing with all of that, physically hurting, mentally, just wanting to bury the baby so quickly. And I now understand from my perspective why funerals are so soon after losses, because it allows the family to have that final goodbye and then move on. And so I used to think, why are funerals like so quick? But there's an aspect of that it's like, let's respect, like, let's put them to peaceful rest and move on. So that's kind of where my mind was. So then my husband and I started thinking, like, what do we do? How do we honor this baby together? And to me, it was really important to honor this baby because, again, first true pregnancy where I knew I was pregnant had the baby for a couple months, 2 months, and felt very pregnant, had all the symptoms, and I just wanted to say goodbye in a respectful way because that baby meant so incredibly much to me. And I was truly feeling like that was like my baby. That was my baby. We were bonded. And I was just like ecstatic to have this baby. So I told my husband, we have got to find a way to honor this baby. Like, this is our way to honor this baby in this moment. We can't do anything else for this baby. Like, that's kind of how I felt. Like, my body failed this baby. I don't know what happened. All I can do is honor this baby right now. And I feel like God gave us that opportunity instead of just me passing it and just not knowing what was going on. He allowed me to have this closure. I'll kind of hold on to something, which to me is really special. So what do we do? So these are just some ideas for you. Again, I would encourage you to honor and respect your baby in your own way. So it was around Valentine's Day, and it was February. And so we went to Target. I got out of the house for the first time in a couple days, literally was wearing a diaper because I was bleeding so much, was in so much pain. And I got out of the house, and I love Target. And I felt like an alien in this world, like, because of the trauma that I went through. And we were in Target, we were in the seasonal section, and we found a little heart-shaped box. And my husband, he's so thoughtful, he was like, this would be perfect for burying the baby. And I thought, great idea. So we picked up this precious little heart box. We picked up another box, which I ended up using for a memory box, which I'll talk about that in a second. So we got a little box, and then I found some little Valentine's hearts that were like plushy hearts. So I put one in the box to bury with the baby, and I kept the other one, so we have matching little hearts. So I have a heart, the baby has a heart in the box. So I can always hold on to that. I put it in my memory box. What I did was I wrote a note to the baby, basically just saying a letter, just saying, I love you and I'm sorry. And just saying that we really wanted you, and that I'm just really sorry. And I never would have wanted to have this happen, that we planned for the baby, that I know that they're with God, and I want them to find peace. So for me, it was just like a goodbye. So we put that in the box. I put some baby's breath in the box because somebody had given me some flowers. Thought baby's breath were really subliminal to, babies. I put some scripture in the box. So I wrote out some scripture, like, the Lord is my shepherd. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. I put the scripture about how God loves children, about hope and peace. So I just put some scripture in there of encouragement, like, of my current situation and what I was feeling. We also put a picture of us in there, one of our engagement photos from our engagement session. And I wrote on the back of the picture, I wrote, Mommy and Daddy love you. And I put it in the box so that the baby could have us with them in there. And I actually just put it right there in the bottom. So it was like right with everything. I think that's all I put in there. I can't really remember. Trauma block, and we sealed it up, and my husband dug the grave, which was very sentimental, like Daddy's, preparing this. It was very emotional. It was very hard. It was just the two of us. We decided to do this together. It was actually a beautiful day, and we couldn't have picked a better day, a more beautiful day. I cried the entire time, but I stood there and I put some flowers in the dirt before we put the box in. We put the box in, and then I covered it with some more flowers. And before we closed everything up, I read my letter to the baby. I think I might have played a song, like an encouraging song, like a Christian song. I read my scripture, and yeah, we said our goodbyes. And so for me, that was just such a closure experience and a way to say goodbye. And even though our baby was a first trimester loss, and we never got to meet our baby, we gave them the most special goodbye that we could with the resources that we had and the ability that we had in that moment to process things. And I feel good about it. I feel that if that baby had made it to full term, I would have loved and given that baby a beautiful life and taken care of that baby and been a great mom to that baby. And so I still want to be a great mom to that baby now. And I don't have much opportunity to do that, but in that moment I did. So I feel great about how we said goodbye. I wanted that baby to know that we loved them and that we wanted them. I wanted them to know that. I wanted God to know that too. And that's the right way to say goodbye. So again, you have to process your loss in your own way. If it's too hard to do all of that, then don't. In some instances, you can't do that because things don't go the way that my situation went. And there's a possibility that, in the future, I might not have that opportunity like I just did, but there's still going to be ways in your journey, no matter what path you're on, that you can find a way to honor your loss. And so I know things can be all over the board in these situations, but I encourage you to do that. So that's what we did. I have not shared that before. I have not shared that with really hardly anyone. What I did, I bought a little solar light, like I think I got it at the Dollar Tree of all places. So there's always a light out there. And I went to Hobby Lobby and I got some little stones. They have memory stones and little angels, and there's a little angel baby. So I put that on there just to remember. And then at Target, we also bought this heart pillow because, again, it was Valentine's Day. We bought this little heart pillow that says I love you on it. And my husband was like, do you want to get a pillow to remember the baby? And you can, have that pillow and it can be your reminder. And I said, absolutely. So I picked up a heart pillow. I still have that heart pillow. It slept on our bed with us. It's still in our bed. Like, it doesn't leave our bedroom. Like, it's our symbol to remember what we lost. And he was very thoughtful to think about that. And then let's talk about the memory box. So I have a memory box, and I would encourage you to start one if you don't have one. In that memory box, I have, it's my pregnancy memory box. So for my losses, anything related to my losses, whether that be cards that I received, I put the little heart in there that I had buried with the baby, the other version of the heart, the other piece of the heart. I put my pregnancy tests, so my 2 positive pregnancy tests from my first pregnancy, I labeled it, and then my second pregnancy, I labeled that one too. Just anything that reminded me of my journey and my losses that I had. So I would encourage you to do that, just so that throughout your life, when you think back about this difficult time and the losses that you had, you have something that you can remember them by. And just don't forget them, because they are also a part of your family. And unfortunately, we don't have much to remember them by. So yes, memory box. And I shared with y'all how we said goodbye. Again, I don't share all that to upset you or to trigger you. I share that to say that it's okay to say goodbye in your own way. It's okay to honor that life, even though it was a first trimester pregnancy loss. It was still a soul. It was still a baby that we created out of our love, that we planned for and wanted. And so for us, it was much, much bigger than just a small first trimester baby. It was our future. It was one of our, our second child, but our first true pregnancy that made it through the first trimester. And it meant something really big to us. So I keep consistently hear people in this space say, why are you so upset? You just had an early pregnancy loss. I cannot with that, because guys, it's not just an early pregnancy loss. It is your hope. It is your plan. It is your future. It is the baby and life that you're longing to have, the family that you're longing to have. So don't let anybody tell you, well, it's just a 6-week baby. Don't let anybody tell you that, because that little baby literally meant more to me than anything in the world, literally anything in the world. And I think that's part of being a mom, and that's part of that bond that you create. And I literally would have done anything for that baby and to protect my pregnancy. So there you go. Don't let anybody tell you that a first trimester loss is not a big deal. It's a huge deal. All right, so I'm really glad I got through that without getting emotional. Again, that shows really healthy growth and grief processing on my part, and just talking about it makes me feel better and processed. And I hope that something I've shared today maybe resonates with you, or something that I've shared gives you some hope. Or if you do, unfortunately, I hope this does not happen, find yourself in a situation like I was in, something I've said might help you. Remember your baby, or just know what to do, because it's so much. And I don't feel like doctors really give us guidance, and it's just so much. And it's such a hard time physically, mentally, emotionally. I mean, you're getting hit all across the board with pain and confusion and hormones changing, and it's a lot. Pregnancy loss is just not easy. It's literally one of the hardest things in the entire universe. All right, so this video today was about how I remember my angel babies on their due dates. I had one in May, I had one in August. Is it a sad day? Yes, but I'm okay. Like, look at me, I'm okay. We are going to a soccer game tonight. I was really upset last night just because it hit midnight and I was still awake, and I was like, no, this is my due date. Was crying some yesterday, and I turned on some worship music, gave it to God. And then today, actually, I'll tell you what's interesting about my journey. So I am on the board of a healthcare organization, a nonprofit healthcare organization. I have a background in healthcare. And I spent my day today on my due date at a retreat, focusing on how to support this nonprofit organization. And so at first I was like, oh shoot, like, why is this retreat on the same day as my due date? I don't know if I should go. I don't know how I'm gonna feel. But honestly, being there today, like getting up and getting dressed and going to do something to better the lives of somebody else on a day like today, gave me purpose and made me feel positive, and made me feel like, yeah, this is a really sad day in your life. Things did not go the way that you wanted them to, but you're choosing to give back and serve someone in need. And God sees that. And I don't know what it was, but the idea that like serving others brings you joy and contentment is so real. And today just made me feel like I have a bigger purpose than pregnancy loss. God is using me in other ways, in other areas of life. And I don't have to sit here and be sad and wallow in my pregnancy loss. Like, I don't have to be that. God is calling me for something better and something higher. God is calling me to the future. God is calling me to good, healthy things. And so I'm not going to sit here and cry all day. I'm just not. So I'm really proud of myself for today, how strong I feel, how much hope that I feel, and just accepting that sometimes things don't go the way we want them to, but that doesn't mean our life is over, and that doesn't mean God is not there, and that doesn't mean that God does not have a plan. So I'm choosing to believe that in my journey, and to know that God's future and God's plan is better than my own. So anyways, that's my journey. I'm really proud of where I am right now. And I'm just praying for success in my next pregnancy. I'm praying for God to replace fear in my life with faith. In those moments where I'm fearful, that He will just replace with faith. So thank you for tuning in today to my video and to my channel, Life with Everyday Haley. This was a deep one today, so I apologize if I made you emotional or triggered you in any way. I totally get it, and I respect you. I'll be back soon with some more updates on my journey. I know I've been going through the reproductive immunology route, so there's some things I have to update you on in the future. So tune in for more videos from me. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys have a very blessed day, and I'll see you soon.